Let's do it. Let's go. Hockey. Cold Tampa. What's up? What's up? It's Daria and Ken, Barbie and Ken, also me. How are you doing? It's extremely cold. I mean, I am still freezing after the Stadium Series, and I don't understand what's going on in Tampa.
It's that global warming everybody keeps talking about. Haven't you heard about that?
But it's not
Temperatures are
warm,
rising,
it's
rising.
freezing.
I know. Actually, they had to not use the word global warming. They had to use climate control or some other word like that because when they use global warming, then people were expecting the temperatures to just rise all the time. And of course, that's not the case. Climate does change. And if you go back and you're a student of history, every so many years, there's a cooling down period, and then there's a warming up period, and then a cooling down period, and we're just in one of those cycles. We'll go out of it. 70s next week, and then it's spring break, middle of February, and we're off and running with this nice Florida weather. So
And here we go, weather lesson for you kids.
that's that was a bonus. No extra charge for that.
Okay, tell me, Can, how was it? How was the Stadium Series? Because you told us last time you're gonna watch it at home. So how was it?
Yeah. It was fantastic. It was one of the most exciting games that I have watched, and I've watched a lot of Stanley Cup games and playoff games with the Lightning, but this one was right at the top, and I think the nation took note of that as well because it was the highest game, regular season game watched since ESPN has had the NHL contracts, and they've had the NHL contracts at four different times since they've been televising sporting events. 2.2 million, 2.3 million watched it. A great game, entertaining, engaging, and it had everything that you wanted in a hockey game. If you want scoring, there was a lot of scoring. If you wanted some roughness and some feistiness, you had that. If you wanted a goalie fight, which is extremely rare, I might say, you had a goalie fight. You had a comeback. You had a team that was all but dead in the second period, and the fight was the catalyst that inspired everyone to come back and give it their all, and they end up winning it in a shootout. Great game, awesome.
And if you want it to be cold, it was cold. It was really cold.
Yes, yeah, I think everybody was a little worried going into the game a couple weeks prior. Once we got closer to the game, we knew what the temperatures were going to be, but without that roof over the stadium like they had down in Miami, they were concerned that the heat might interfere in the heating of the day with the ice, and it wasn't that way at all. It was pretty much perfect conditions. Even Kucherov, who did the pregame skate the day before, said the ice was absolutely horrible. But on game day, he had a nice game. I think he finished with 4 points, so he was able to adjust to the quality of the bad ice, as he calls it. So I think it was a great event. Again, spotlighting the city of Tampa, and it just shows what a first class city, Tampa is. We can put on these big sporting events and just be a huge success for the teams and the families and the fans that come here to enjoy that.
And but once again, it's so much to say here. Tampa is a very sports oriented city all over, and you can really feel the vibe. Because even right now, if you watch the Florida Panthers games, where
Hmm.
all of those fans, they
I
just don't go
know.
to the games, empty seats. You cannot
Yes.
see that in Tampa. Even at the
No.
beginning of the season, when the team was not doing so well, I haven't seen that many empty seats.
No, and that's one of the things about the Tampa market that drives me crazy. They're willing to sell to the highest bidder the tickets for an event. It doesn't matter if it's baseball. You go to baseball, Yankees, Red Sox, Tigers, Phillies. You go to football when the Jets and the Eagles and the Steelers and the Bears come in. And the same way with hockey. Montreal, Toronto, Boston, the Rangers. You live here, cut the freaking cord. Okay? You don't live there anymore. You come here, you want to enjoy our sunshine, our warm weather, our beaches. As they say in Boston, forget about it. It's Tampa now, all the way. So we have to do a better job of getting some more homegrown fans and people that grow up with the teams The other thing I think that contributes to that is most of the teams that you see being represented from out of town in the Tampa market have a very long history. Tampa's got a very short sports history. I mean, the Rays only been around, 30 years. The Lightning, not much longer. The Bucks started in '76. That's very short when you compare their tenure to what some of these other dynasties and original six teams in the NHL have. So that has something to do with it too. But hopefully we get there and it'll be a majority of Tampa fans here as we get this playoff run kicked in after the Olympics.
And you already talked about the ratings, right? And yeah, I
Yes.
also found this stats. Yeah, they actually say that most attended pre-game festival. I was there too. Yes, it was
Mhm.
crowded. The line was huge. We had to stand there, I think, for 40 minutes because in the Winter Classic in Miami, it only took us like 15 minutes. And the area was much smaller, of course. But anyways, about the TV ratings. I mean, 2.1, 2.4 million.
Mhm.
Ken, I'm in shock. This is really
I
low.
would, I agree with you. It is low, but when you do comparison by comparison, that's an excellent number. I think the what was the I can't think of the name of it. The international series they had last year at the All Star break, where the Four Nations tournament.
Okay.
The U.S. and Canada, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we had 15 million people. The country watched that game, and they were just going crazy over that. I mean, the Super Bowl will get 100 million. Yeah, people.
Yes.
So it just goes to show you that hockey still has a long way to go, and it's a fabulous sport. It's considered more of a northern sport, but in the last 20 years, I mean, look at the growth in markets like Dallas and even Phoenix. Even they don't have a hockey team anymore. They had for 20 years. Dallas is a good market. There's a lot of minor league teams that are in Sun Cities now. San Diego, Houston, New Orleans. They're trying to grow the game at the grassroots level, and I think that's what it's going to take to really get the sport on the same level as even NBA basketball. I mean, let's start with the NBA. The NBA is third ranked overall in viewership behind the NFL, and Major League Baseball and the NBA kind of go back and forth. But if the NHL could consistently generate those kind of numbers from a rating standpoint, that would be a good starting point and would be fantastic. But they're trying, they're working. It's a slow process.
I cannot say that they're working and trying really hard if the NHL blocks the entire country or people who speak one language, like Russian. Like, I don't want
Oh,
to
okay.
be too
I see what
political,
I
but
see
it
what you're
really
saying. Yeah, yeah,
matters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's more of an international growth challenge than it would be anything domestic here.
Well, there's a lot of speaking people here, and they still
I know.
prefer, not the English exposure and coverage, but Russian speaking,
Hmm.
and it's all blocked. But anyways, let's not go there. Let's talk about the fun part. What about the outfits? It was really funny. I was crossing the street with my boys, and I see that like a tourist bus, like really regular bus, like nothing special about it, but it was surrounded by police on the motorcycles. And I could see like the guy sitting inside in those triangle hats. So I was like, oh, the Lightning. Then I looked at the time and it was about 3:30. I was like, no, Boston Bruins supposed to arrive at this time. I'm like,
Yes.
why are they wearing hats? Are they pirates? Isn't it our theme? It's very interesting. And then, of course, when I saw
Yes.
that little trolley, it's not
Hmm.
even a bus, right? What is this? Like
That's a
trolley
trolley.
car. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trolley
And
car.
I see the NFL players. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. The outfits were
Yeah.
amazing for the Boston and for the Tampa
Hmm.
players.
Yeah. Again, I thought that the NHL and the organizations did a great job of just coming up with something that was entertaining, a bit different. It wasn't the old tried and true boring thing. They really stepped outside the box, tried to bring some excitement to it. They had Baker Mayfield and Tristan Wirfs in the Lightning jerseys, and they were kind of leading the team. into the stadium. I thought that was a great touch and kind of got everybody fired up. And
It
yeah,
was,
it was good. It was fantastic the way they did their entrances.
you know what bothered me? Obviously, you know Nikita Kucherov, and there's another Nikita Zadorov. He
Yeah,
is a giant. I guess he's a brutal Mr. Brutality guy now. Like he's very brutal, not always plays by the rules, but what surprised me in a bad way, how rough and bad he was to Nikita Kucherov. It's like you are from the same country. I understand that you are playing against each other, but it's
Mhm.
so not necessary trying to crush the best player in the world near the boards. That can lead to an injury.
I referenced last night. Did you see with Mikola last night? Kucherov is standing there minding his business, and then that blowhard coach for the Panthers, Paul Maurice, oh, we only hit guys with the puck. Get the freak out of here. He took a chop at Kucherov. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, it had been a fairly clean game. I mean, up until then, not
Yeah.
rough stuff, but a boxing match broke out then, and I don't know why they have to go to that level. You're getting your ass beat. Just take your ass whipping and
Hmm.
go home.
Paul Maurice cannot take that.
I, I don't know, but I don't know why players, and it's not just the guy you're mentioning, but there's a lot of other players that
Hmm.
cheap shot artists. Tom Wilson from the Capitals. I can't stand him. Okay, I wrote a piece one time. He should not be allowed to ever skate in an NHL arena again. All he does is headhunt. That's all he does. He has no skill. Ask him to score 10 goals a season. He couldn't do it. 15 goals. Ask him to be part of the second power play unit or be on the penalty kill. No, no. He knows how to headhunt and instigate and antagonize. I guess in the sport of hockey, you need a couple people like that on your team, but they have to know, okay, when's the right time to jump in? When's the right time to bring it? And when's the right time to pull back?
Like Marchand or Sam Bennett on Team Canada. Yes, you need to know when to stop. Stop word. Yeah.
Yeah. Except for the one time Marchand, when he was with Boston, did spit in one of the Lightning players' faces. I forget who that was.
That was really emotional. That just got out of the hand. But he's trying to behave right now. Like he's
Yes.
trying. He didn't even play last night because he was getting ready for the Olympics,
No.
which I cannot say about Matthew Tkachuk. I don't know what is wrong with that guy. Why are you trying to injure Jake Gansel? You are gonna be on the same team, dude. You're gonna be fighting against Team Canada. You need him.
Well, maybe it is a situation similar to what we saw at the end of the Stadium Series with Vazzy and Jeremy Swayman after their fight. Lining up to shake hands, they meet one another, they hug, they embrace, have some small talk. Hey, how's the kids? How's the wife? Hey, I'll see you later. And there's no hard feelings. They just leave it on the ice and go about their business.
Well, I don't know who votes for, like, after this season, usually athletics or in HLPA ask who's the most hated guy. Mr. Tkachuk, always.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he brings that on himself with the
Hmm.
style of play. And to be honest, I don't think they care. I don't think they care
Yeah,
one
he
way or
enjoys
the
it.
other. Yeah, one way or the other that brings them attention. If they have to be the villain, they'll be the villain. They'll be the hated one, as long as they can somehow help their team get that emotional edge, put their team over the top. That's all they really care about.
I
In
mean,
my
it was a good game.
Yeah.
Lightning won 6-1. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's too much, but it was not the best game for Daniel Tarasev, who also got injured.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't. What was the injury update on him? Did you
I
hear
did
what?
not follow up, but I actually, because it's just the habit. That's it. You
Yeah.
always record stuff because you can also use it, for your media coverage
Yeah.
purposes. And
Yeah.
it looked like he pulled his groin a little
That's what I
earlier.
thought.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
there's a lot of movement, a lot of shots,
Hmm.
and he couldn't move, but he tried and he only made it worse. Like you
Yeah.
could see the moment when he was actually feeling discomfort, but
Hmm.
he understand he still had to move towards the right side, and he did, and that's it. That was the goal,
Yeah.
and he just couldn't get up after that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was surprised because I didn't think that that would affect him, like that. But, when you're a goalie and you're moving around like that, if you are not able to move laterally, oh, you're done. You're done. So, yeah, that was. I'm sure Maurice didn't want to put Bob in, but at that point in the game, what choice do you have? You just go out there, finish the game, and get out of there.
And it also a little upsetting. Once again, it was an amazing game by Andrei Vasilevsky. He just switched his whatever it is,
Yes.
but he is outstanding. He plays like he owns the world. And it's a little sad that he didn't get that shutout, but it's okay. It's still very sad that he is not going to the Olympics. Nikita Kucherov, they're both in
Yes.
their prime, and they probably from the entire team, Russia, for the entire Lightning organization right now,
Hmm.
those are two players who should be there. They deserve it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and don't forget about Sergachev, the other Russian defenseman that was here a few years ago before he got traded to Utah. I'm sure he'd be on that team as well. But I'm sure they're disappointed. They're not going to be able to represent their country. But at the same time, how often do you get the chance to take a 2 week vacation in the middle of the season and just kind of chill for a few days and do nothing? Now you got to be careful with that because February 25th will be here before you know it. So you don't want to lounge around and have too many barbecues and cookouts and get out of shape and not keep your fitness and conditioning up because that'll be not so good for you. If you step back onto the ice for your first practice session, you're winded, you can't go. So they have to maintain some type of fitness and training obviously during the break if you're not going to the Olympics.
I'm
But
sure you know you're not talking about Nikita Kucherov right now because he's probably already practicing and training for the
he is.
playoffs.
Yeah, he probably works out 365.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
4 hours a day. Yeah.
He is ready. Okay,
Hardcore.
so basically you enjoyed the game. That's what I'm trying to
It
get.
was it was an awesome game. It was fantastic. I actually saved. I'm going to make a collage. I have this photo collage on my wall in my living room. It has a place for 10 pictures. And I picked out 10 pictures when the Lightning won the Stanley Cup and put them in there. Pictures of them raising the cup and in the bay, tossing the cup around and having some fun. And I'm going to do that with the Stadium Series. I've got a lot of photos saved, and I'm going to make a little collage and put it right up next to that because it was just a shining event and a real neat event, just like the Stanley Cup Finals.
Ken, you always talk about all the pretty stuff that you have, but you never share it. Like we still don't have the pictures, videos. You have to start sharing so I
I,
can
I
actually
know.
insert it.
I know. I will do that. I promise. I just get busy.
Yeah. And I also got my John Cooper 1000 game puck.
Oh, you did? They still
I
have
did.
some.
Yes.
Good. Good.
They probably got some extra ones because I remember when Nikita Kucherov got his 1000 point,
Hmm.
I went to the store. I think it was like in 2 days, and they're like, "Oh, we're out." I'm like, "What? Are you kidding?" They said that they only produced
1,000.
1000. I'm like, "That's
Yeah.
not fair. Nikita Kucherov is a star." And they said that they probably not gonna have any more, but in a few weeks, guess what?
It did.
They actually delivered more. That was awesome.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I went to the store yesterday. It was crowded. It was so hard to move. The price is still the same. There is no sale for the Stadium Series, and people still buy it. So it's
Oh yeah.
very popular.
Yeah. It's a nice colors, nice alternative. I have the black jersey, with the bolts on. I
Hmm.
have the blue regular home jersey, the white home jersey. I have the Stadium Club Series jersey, and there was another one. I think they played in Nashville. So I have
Hmm.
about 6 or 7 different styles of Lightning jerseys, and you just never know when you'll get the
Hmm.
urge to put one on. You hate to wear the same thing all the time when the playoffs are going on, you like to keep it fresh. I do.
Oh, I actually wanted to ask you something more fashionably personal.
Okay.
There's a lot of women obviously out there. Some outfits were outrageous. And like there was a lady, she was really tall. Like she was probably, I don't know, 6'5" or something like that. And it looked like she's wearing jersey with no skirt or shorts and high
Hmm.
boots. So everyone was like,
Hmm.
what is going on here? Did she forget to dress or what? It was I felt uncomfortable. I am very, open-minded person, but it was like, what is going on here? Am I
You
still
have
in the
to cover
game?
your children's eyes. Don't
Love
look.
it. Yeah, I did. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I have a little boy here, close your eyes. And he's like, what is she doing? So I don't know. Some fashionable choices, I don't know, people. You have to be blocked. Get out.
Yeah. Well, if you saw, not to change the subject, but if you saw any of the fashion statements that some of the women in the entertainment industry were trying to make at the Grammys, you would
Oh,
have been appalled. That's all I'm going to say.
oh, okay. So it's going there.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay.
What works in Hollywood on the red carpet will not necessarily work in Tampa at an outdoor hockey game.
I love it. I love it. Yes, because players still cannot see you. They're a little busy.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a little busy, girls.
Yeah.
Okay, get busy. Yeah. Ooh,
Mhm.
yeah. What about another outrageous event during this week? Artemi Panarin rumors. I mean, he never made
Mhm.
it to Tampa. I wish he would. I even like created social media posts, but I knew it's not gonna happen because knowing Artemi, his logic, and his family, they only care about at this point only about big cities. And obviously, after New York, there's only one city left. Los Angeles. And yeah, Los Angeles. But he would be so useful here. John Cooper would find him the best spot. He would open up everything that's holding back there.
Well, you had a couple of problems trying to get him to Tampa, number one. The first thing was he wanted an extension, and the
Yes.
Kings ended up signing him for $22 million, 2 years. That's an average of 11 mil a year. What kind of cap space does the Lightning have right now? That's
That's a second
player
question.
that matters. They don't. Okay.
Hmm.
So that kind of prohibits that player and that type of math from working with Tampa. I was thinking about it. You bring in somebody like Panarin, a lot of times it takes a while for them to get into the flow of things with their new team, become part of the culture. And everything is just clicking right now, man. Cooper's got his hands on that team. He knows the pulse of that team. Everything that he's doing right now is working. And even though you can possibly bring in a talent like that, at the end of the day, is the move going to help you this season and also help you down the road? And I don't know that that would have been the case with Panarin. Short term, yes. Long term, I don't know.
I
Because,
was only talking about today, right
yeah,
now, because we would need extra
right.
power for playoffs. And I was hoping that he will be able to open up because he really wants that Stanley Cup.
I just don't. I'm happy with the guys that we have.
True.
Point, Hagel, Kucherov, Gunsel, even Raddysh got 32 points. As a defenseman, that man is the most improved player this year on the Lightning team.
Hmm.
So as these young kids come up and they get an opportunity, I'm hoping that they will develop. I'm still waiting on Connor Geeky. I don't know what he's buried in Syracuse for. He was the big player and piece in that Sergachev trade. Had a little cup of coffee with the Lightning. They sent him down to Syracuse. He's never been back since. Now his brother's a pretty good player for Boston. His brother Morgan's doing well, but
I would trade for his brother because his brother is, I don't know, he just looks better. I'm sorry,
and
but
he's
our
younger
geek is
than
very
Panarin too.
raw.
But these young kids are coming in, and I think that they've bought into the system. They're not trying to be something they're not. They're not trying to, maybe be the big stars that they are down at Syracuse. I mean, look at that line last night, the fourth line: Douglas, Finley, and Sabrin. If we would have talked about that line and said, hey, these guys are really going to play an important part of this Lightning team this season as we go down the stretch and make that push for the playoffs, people would have looked at us like we have four heads. What are you talking about? But here we are. And we would not be in the position without that line, because all that line does is bring a lot of toughness, tenacity, physicality. They're not afraid to do anything to help the team win the game. They don't care about scoring. They're not there for the accolades. They are there to do whatever it takes to help their team win. And that's what the Lightning was missing the last couple of years.
Especially in playoffs, yeah.
In their playoff series with Florida. They had nobody that would stand up, nobody that would answer the bell. They get run off the ice by the Panthers, and they trot off like a dog leaving the yard with their tail between their legs. It's like, this isn't, it's not the way it's supposed to be. Now give Breeze Boy credit. He realized that, and he took some steps to correct that and bring in some guys that are really going to, help the culture and the chemistry of the team and help that overall toughness. And we've seen a whole different Lightning team this year in that area compared to what we did the last couple of years. So with the Panarin thing, yeah, he's there to score goals, help you on the power play. Other than that,
that's about it. He disappears in playoffs. That's true.
And
Everything you said is 100% true.
The grind lines win playoff games in hockey a lot of times. It's not your superstars. Yeah, they'll be in the scoring, but you got to have them guys that are going to do the dirty work, take the hit, put the hit on. And I think the Lightning have a good crop of young folks on that team and young stars that do that very well.
100% too. It's a little bit too late because I wish we had that fourth line last season.
Oh,
especially in playoffs, because I've been screaming about it. Like, why don't you use the guys from the Syracuse Crunch? Come on. We need toughness. And when it comes to Artemi Panarin, I think I was a little bit selfish and thinking more about him because it turns out he's already 34.
He is. He's old. Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. The time actually is going down now. He's really have to start thinking about the Stanley Cup, not the money. And so I was like, oh my God, he will be able to reach his potential with John Cooper because he's amazing. That's probably the only coach who would be able to do something. Or Canaville, Mr. Canaville in Anaheim. But no, he chose LA. But for our team, yes, it's amazing what John Cooper has done.
Yes.
It's like from being one of the worst teams in the beginning of the season to the best one. I'm like, yes, this is why this guy is the legend.
Well, here's the thing about John Cooper. This is his best coaching job that he has done during his time in Tampa this season, because he has had to put a different lineup out there, sometimes almost on a nightly basis. He's had to rely on a lot of kids from Syracuse. And for this man to have 600 wins, over 600 wins now, been to 4 Stanley Cup finals, winning 2, and not even be coach of the year one time, somebody should be taken out back and horsewhipped for that. I mean, that is a travesty. It really is. But Cooper is just, he's not one of those hard-ass coaches. He's a player's coach, but he's a good observer of people. And what I mean by that is he looks at his group. He won't necessarily play the best people together, but if you are really well with this person over here and you have good chemistry, we're going to try to play you together and see what happens. We'll give it a try. He's done that late in some games with his line combinations when he's tried to come up with, a new line that can play more minutes. He's put some guys in and out just to see what's going to mix well, how they're going to react to it. That's what he does really well. He steps back, looks at the whole picture, and says, "Okay, there's a little bit of chemistry here. Yeah, they're not the best individually, but you put them together, and there's some kind of magic."
He's a philosopher.
He
That's
is a philosopher. He's a
Yeah,
great
creative
philosopher.
thinking. All of his background really works.
Yeah, and I'm sure his law background helps him
Yeah,
too because he's able to bloviate and explain his changes in the lineup, why he's doing what he's doing, and how it's going to work out. He's probably very good at that.
yeah. He's used to solving problems,
Yes.
analyzing, paying attention to little details, like you said, things that people don't necessarily look at, and not from the hockey standpoint.
Yeah, you have to. Part of your job now as a head coach and as a leader of an organization, obviously to make sure you're putting the best product out there, but also have your pulse on your people every day. Know what's working, what's not working, when to make a move. I'll give you another example just recently. Victor Hedman came back Sunday, Stadium Series against Boston. The first couple of Boston goals, especially that one goal, I mean, Hedman, he just got toasted. And it's like, oh my God. Is this because it's his first game back? He's 35 years old now. He's losing his step. What's going on with this? He has been an amazing player for Tampa. He'll be a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about it. But everyone gets to that certain point in their career where, hey, you know what? You can't play first line minutes anymore. And Cooper dropped him to the third line with Carlisle because you have Raddysh and Moser play, and then you have Chernak and McDonough. So those are your defensive pairings now, and that was a good move putting Hedman on the third line because he was on the first line. That would create some problems, and Cooper was smart enough to realize that. And I'm sure he had conversations behind the scenes, which we're not privy to. But as a professional, you take the coaching. You're part of the team. He's still, an excellent mentor. For the young defensemen, for the youngsters on the team. He, a good player coach, if you will. Take some of the guys under his wing, but to play those kind of minutes and expect him to play like he did 15 years ago, I don't know if that's feasible because we all lose a step at some point.
I'm glad that you talked about Victor Hedman. If I forget, please remind me to go back to him because I wanted to talk
Okay.
about him. So once again, John Cooper versus Paul Maurice. I mean, the
Yes.
level is not even there. Anyhow, hockey-wise, personality, please. Anyways, when I went to the Winter Classic, obviously we all know that Kachuk was skating at that point. Barkov was trying to. There's actually one thing. He was skating behind the closed doors, and whenever people saw him or they were passing by, they were asked to leave the area because no one wanted to see that Barkov was skating by himself. Yeah, I do have some inside information. So, anyways, and I would expect, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the team, for the city, for the NHL. So, I expected Matthew Tkachuk or Sasha Barkov to have some sort of participation with the team. I don't know, touch the ice, something. But they never did. When it comes to John Cooper, obviously he understood how important that is for Victor Hedman. He actually skated like 2 days before. It was his first time since December 9th and after surgery taking the ice. And he was out there. He really wanted to try it. Yes, at first it was really interesting how they're going to put it together. And like you said, Victor Hedman was not great at the first few shifts. And obviously, if you put the star back, Darren Raddysh was playing less, and it did not look good. I was sitting out there and yelling, please, bring Raddysh back, please. He needs to
Right.
be out there. It doesn't look good. If we go
Right.
back to the game against Buffalo, once again, it's mesmerizing. How did they do it? I don't understand. Victor Hedman, I think he was on the ice for the all 3 goals that went in. So it
Yeah.
did not look good. But against the Florida Panthers, it was a different Victor Hedman. You could see
Yes.
that he is getting ready for the Olympics. He knows he has to be the leader. Most of the time, even the way he skated, all the smooth angles, you can see he's trying. He's mentally and physically setting himself up for the Winter Olympics. That's amazing. That's being professional. He was
Hmm.
amazing yesterday. So many shots from the blue line. He is trying to get in shape. Also, there's another thing. A few days ago, so the game was on Friday, right? I think on Wednesday, Victor took I think it's his youngest son. I'm not sure. He's about 4 years old. He's just learning to skate. So he was actually at the Power Pole ring in Tampa, and he had a private session, his son. So Victor watched the most of it, and it was good, quiet. A few other private coaches were out there, but all of a sudden, as parents came in, he was flooded by the parents, fans. Everyone was taking pictures, and you could see he was very uncomfortable because he was there. Yes, he's Victor Hedman. Yes, Tampa is all about hockey and sports, but he was there as a private citizen, as a
Yeah.
dad, watching his son and trying, to focus, to see things around, just relax. And even though he's a nice guy, he had to take it all as a professional, but you could see he was really uncomfortable because people just don't respect privacy.
No, they don't. And I was at the arena. This has been a few years ago now. It was preseason. They were getting ready for their first regular season game in Brandon, and it was open to the public. And when the players came off the ice, it was like, whoa! I mean, it didn't matter who it was. Everybody just, can you sign my stick? Can you sign my glove? Can And it's like, guys, let's let the players have a moment here. Relax.
Let them
Yeah.
breathe. They just got out of the ice.
Yeah.
Let them breathe.
Yes. But to your earlier point about Cooper and Hedman's skating, getting back to this Stadium Series, it was such a big event in Tampa that at one point, I'm not sure if it was the day before, somewhere in that time frame, everybody that was up with the Lightning got to skate on that ice. And I remember John Cooper making a comment. He said, "Hey, you know what? We've had a lot of people that have had a big part in the success of this organization and making sure that Tampa gets this marquee event. So why not just let them throw on a uniform, go out there and skate? It's just unfortunate we can only, dress the 20 players or whatever it is we're going to dress for the game. But let's let everyone, at least participate in it a little bit and, have a little fun with it."
Yeah, that's John Cooper. Classic.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, I would say the most important question right now, Ken. We are going towards Olympics. Who are
Yep.
you gonna cheer for? It's so complicated because yes, I wish all the best to John Cooper, even though I don't like Tom Wilson being on that team. At the same time, yes, I do want Team USA succeed, but Matthew Tkachuk bothers me. And I know many people who are actually, I am Russian American, but there's people who actually I don't know, third generation American. And they say they're not going to cheer for Team USA because they hate Matthew Tkachuk and the way he plays against Tampa Bay Lightning.
No, I think you have to separate that. I'm a nationalist first, as most of us are.
Be careful what you say now.
Well, we want what I mean by that is, I want the USA to win. We're going to root for the USA. I am. We want good things to happen. But if the US is ousted and Canada moves on, I have no problem rooting for Canada. I mean, Cooper's coaching. We've got a couple of good Canadians that play here in Tampa on that team. So I'm going to go with USA number one, Canada, and then let's just draw some names out of the bag, throw them in the air, and see where they land. Who we're going to root for after that.
No, tell me now, who's your third choice? What about Victor Hedman in Sweden?
I don't know that they have enough offense.
But
I,
those are Swedes. It's all
I know.
about being good in defense. You just don't
I
let other
know.
guys to be out there.
I think the dark horse is Czechia.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's who I think the dark horse is. I would put Czechia third, and then Sweden fourth.
I think they weren't as
Handicap.
good since like Japanese Olympics, Nagano. It's been a
Yeah.
while.
Well, that's been a while. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But the U.S. is not favored. Canada, of course, is favored in most of your betting institutions. Now, on the women's side, the U.S. women are favored. They're
Let's
favored
go.
to beat Canada again for the gold. But for the men, it'll be really, really close. I would expect a U.S. Canadian final, and I think Canada will probably win. So much is going to ride on goaltending.
That's what I wanted to say. They don't
Yeah,
have Brador anymore.
yeah. And you get in big games, especially deep into the playoffs, we've seen a goalie just be able to steal a game or steal a series, be the MVP, and that same kind of thing can happen in a short tournament, likely like the Olympics. So it really depends on how the goalie situation plays out, who has the hot hand, and who's going to ride that hot hand, really, to determine if it's going to be the U.S. or Canada. But I think one of those two teams are going to take gold, and the other one will take silver.
Oh, we'll see. Are you gonna adjust your schedule because of the Olympics? Because you want to see the games?
I am. 3 o'clock. Must see TV. That's when the games are going to be here in the States. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Actually, 3:10 p.m. Now, the Canadians are going to be in the morning. There's like 11 a.m., 10:40 a.m. start time, something like that. But the interesting thing is, unless I am mistaken, the U.S. does not play Canada in the first round.
Yeah.
Usually they play them in the first round, and then they go to the round robin and get into the semis and all that. They don't play each other, so they will not play each other until it means something later in the tournament. So that's kind of interesting. I thought maybe a little quirk in the schedule.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I was really looking forward to it. Yeah, I think we got another good one. And next time, let's focus on the Olympics. And remember, like we discussed, we're going to build Team Russia roster too, like fantasy roster.
That would be good. Yes. Yeah. Do you remember? I know you remember this. Do you remember Nikolai Habibulin?
Oh, of course, he was here. Of course.
Yeah. Good.
What is the story? That's it? You
Oh
stop?
no, no. I'm just thinking of you mentioned we have to build the Russian roster, and all these Russian players are.
I mean, I don't think we can use him because he
No,
retired, Ken.
to be goaltender coach.
Yes, the last time I checked, he was doing it in Russia, but I'm not sure if he was really doing it or just holding the position. But yeah, I occasionally I see people wearing his jerseys, so it's really sweet.
As you handicap the Lightning goaltenders, though, throughout their history, at best, I think he would probably be third. Pazzi would be first. Ben Bishop would be second, I think, and then Hobby Boom third.
Interesting. What about Matthew Garon? He's a very big part of Lightning culture right now when it comes to Lightning youth hockey development. So
Yeah,
that's pretty cool thing.
that is, yeah, and it's neat to see these guys once they end their professional careers that they love the city of Tampa so much that they want to stay here, raise their families here, put their roots down here, and then get involved in the community and try to grow the game of hockey. Yeah, I haven't seen Garon out anywhere. You see Marty St. Louis occasionally when he's not coaching Montreal. He'll be in and out. Le Cavalier, same thing. Andrechuk, who is on the pregame show. See him. Pat Maroon's now getting more involved, but you really don't see him much.
Well, now I'm going to break the news to you. He was actually very active during the Stadium Series too, but I guess behind the scenes. So
Okay.
he's someone who really cares about hockey initiatives, what's going on in the community, but he's just not flashing his face out there. Yeah,
And that's perfect because not everybody wants to be on camera. Not everybody wants that spotlight. They're content to work and do their thing, out of the public eye, and that serves a purpose too. And a lot of times, those kind of jobs are just as important as the ones in front, what everybody can see and what everybody's paying attention to.
If I was a goalie or if my kid was a goalie, I mean, I would always get the private sessions with him. It's really interesting that people don't realize that. I understand that not everyone is like a history geek like you and I, but still, I'm like, oh my God, NHL goalie is here, and you can actually skate with him, and his rate is not even that expensive. That's amazing.
I just like seeing the guys get a hold of the community, buy what the Lightning is trying to do, help them grow the game of hockey, and I think that's fantastic. The only negative thing I would say,
Ooh.
I live I live in Hernando County, Spring Hill, and the closest ice rink is in Wesley Chapel. That's about 45 to 50 minutes away. And that's a long drive for kids up here wanting to learn to play the game of hockey and drive back and forth for lessons a couple of times a week. And then if you have games, there's, I think, Wesley Chapel, there's Clearwater. Brandon's way too far. There's one in Odessa. I don't know if there's another one anywhere or not. Those are the only four that I know of right now. But they need to put something at the other end of Pasco County, not the busy end, where up towards Hernando County, because Hernando County is growing. I mean, it's one of the faster growing areas in the state, and I think it would do well.
Maybe we can build the ring.
You call your people, and I'll call my people.
Let's do that. That's amazing. Thank you so much for your time. As usual, see you later, alligator.